So I just played the first 3 hours, just under 3 hours, like 2 hours 40 minutes, something like that. This game over here, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Oh my god, HD Ziad here, literally from the future. Yeah, I literally recorded this video that you're about to watch when the day of the game's release, of SMT V's release. And then I mostly edited it around that time even, and then I just sat on it for like 6 months. And what's amazing is that I rewatched the video, obviously, and not only do I still agree with everything that I'm saying in there, I also still felt that it was worth putting out. It was worth just having everybody else hear it. I still feel like I'm making a lot of interesting points that I haven't really seen a lot. Again, as you will see, not just about the game, but just the general mindset that goes into critiquing a game like SMT 5. That's really what I want to talk about. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I hope I don't make you angry with this video, and please, especially if you liked this game, whatever, please let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear what you think about the points I'm making. I would love to have a discussion about it, right? Yeah, hope you enjoy. This is not a video about Shin Megami Tensei 5, though. It's more a video about just how much... Like, this game made me think about how much stuff we take for granted in games. Just how many details there are to design and to presentation that just have such a large impact on how we perceive games. And honestly, yeah, just JRPGs as a whole. So that fucking can of worms again. See, I actually got a lot of responses or comments whenever I expressed interest in playing this game. I got responses saying, damn, can't wait to read another one of your JRPG rants. Can't wait for you to hate this game. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh, he's gonna hate this one. Boys, let's go. See, I'm not really exactly sure where that's coming from. It does legitimately feel a little bit like people don't really take me seriously. When I go on my JRPG rants, they kind of chalk it up as a me thing, right? And as much as I respect other people's preferences, right? I think you can like JRPGs, I think that's fine. I think that does make you a terrible person. But as much as that's true, I think it's not very good to not fundamentally question certain things, right? And to not really want more out of these fucking games. And I guess the thing I would like to show with this video is that the avenues for improvement are so clear at certain points, and it's just like this feels like a game that's not pushing itself at all. It's banking so hard on the fact that its audience accepts like the bare minimum, that it sort of looks at certain elements and thinks it's just like that. Games are just like that. JRPGs are just like that. When really they don't have to be, right? Best example of that, and I realized this is not going to be relatable to a lot of people. A lot of people are going to think I'm being ridiculous, right? And I'm being nitpicky. But SMT 5 very immediately hits you in the face with the classic JRPG dialogue choice problem, by which I mean none of your dialogue choices fucking matter. And not only do they not matter, right, like, as in they don't affect anything, but it's like, the game asks you what do you want to do in this situation, and then it does whatever the fuck it wants anyway, right? It's one thing to do the Bioshock Infinite thing, where it asks you, oh, do you want this accessory or this accessory, right? And then it doesn't have any impact on what's happening in the game, but like that's a totally different thing, right? Like that you could think that's stupid, but like at the very least it's sort of consistent with with what's in the game, right? With what the fuck is happening. You wouldn't really bat an eye at the fact that me picking this one accessory over the other doesn't affect anything, right? That's not really that weird, right? And it doesn't feel like the game is just cheating you constantly, right? Whereas here, it's like literally 5 minutes in, this guy asks you, okay, do you want to, like, let's go in a group, you know, I think that's a good idea, like, it's dangerous outside, whatever. It's funny, like, these JRPGs, these dialogue choices, they're always structured where you have one choice that's clearly the socially acceptable, obvious choice, right? And then the one choice that's, like, the deviant choice, like, fuck you, I don't like you, whatever, right? Well, you do the deviant choice in this game consistently, and then, you know, the example that I just mentioned, the guy will just be like, "Ah, come on, man, just don't be like that, let's just go together." And then without even asking you again, you just go with him. And that happens probably 3 or 4 times in the first hour. And it's the kind of thing where this is supposed to be like this harsh, dangerous world that you're supposed to go through with caution and intrigue, right? You're supposed to be, like, curious and anxious about what's going on. And it's like, how the fuck is there supposed to be any mystique whatsoever when the game immediately sends the message to me, yeah, actually you have no agency in this world, right? It's kind of ridiculous to advertise this game by saying, Göttlichkeit erwartet dich, godhood awaits, right? A god chooses what the fuck they do, right? You don't. In this game, you are a pawn. If anything, really, right? And it changes your perspective on events in this game in such an overarching way, right? Where, obviously, very early on, once you reach the Netherworld, you fuse with this guy, like you saw in the trailers, and then from that point onward, he's constantly in your ear. Not to, like, an annoying degree, right? He doesn't, like, constantly interrupt the game, I'm not trying to say that. But he will, literally every time you run into any situation that's, like, a little bit new, or unusual, or, slightly precarious, he will stop you in your tracks and give you a little tutorial, right? And then spoon-feed every fucking last detail about the situation to you, like, hey, this is a giant fucking enemy, maybe you should walk around him, right? Maybe you shouldn't engage him yet. And it's like, how in the fuck is this giant enemy supposed to make me feel anything when the game already literally tells me what the fuck is going on, right? Before I even have a chance to be surprised or to, like, fucking even make a mistake, right? The game is so I said this to my friend Alan, but this game, it feels toothless. It's so afraid of me doing something fucking wrong that it will constantly coddle me. And in that specific situation, it's weird, right? That, like, literally, there's demons hinting at this big fucking demon guy, this giant fucking enemy roaming the map. They're hinting at the guy when you talk to them. So clearly, you don't have to stumble into this situation blind, right? If you're cautious and if you're inquisitive, you will realize, oh, there might be something dangerous going on, right? But the game doesn't trust you enough to do that, so it will still give you a little tutorial, like, well, okay, this is what's going on. And it's even more ridiculous when later you meet this, later or earlier, I forget, but, like, you meet this, like, tiny demon lady, whatever, and she really wants to join you. And you can say yes or no, but then your guy will tell you, no, let's not join up with her, let's ignore her, we don't know her motives, right? So then you just decide not to take her with you, right? Because your guy told you so. But then you meet her 2 more times, and then the final time that you meet her, you get actually into an extended conversation with your guy, and then he's like, all right, you know what, let's go with her, whatever. Let's let her join our party. And then your guy is just like, all right, join our party. And you have no further say in it, right? And it's hilarious, right? It's fucking hilarious if you just stop to think about it for a minute. Just how the game wants to have this veneer of, like, oh shit, like, this is such a fucking mysterious world, and, like, you're, like, your own person, you know, like, you get to make the choices, blah, blah, blah. But then, constantly not actually living up to that, right? Not honoring that at all. And so here's what I meant with, like, people are gonna think I'm nitpicky, right? Because, again, we look at this kind of thing and just think, that's just what video games are like, you know? That's just a video game, just, whoa. And I think really it's because people don't actually take it that seriously, right? They don't try to take the world seriously, they don't try to immerse themselves in the game. And like, the thing is, if you like these games so much, that it feels weird to me then to not actually want to take it seriously, right? If you like the visuals so much, if you like the art design, the music, whatever, if you like all and the story, if you like all that shit, to me it seems weird to not want more from that. And it's weird to say that games are just like that when literally this is a solved problem. See, I'm going to talk about the game that this made me think about a lot in a little bit, right? You may have an idea. But really, even if we just compare it to SMT 4, right? This is not supposed to be a comparative review. I haven't played SMT 4 really in long enough to say anything with, like, super specific clarity, right? But, like, SMT 4, even just the way its dialogue choices were structured was super different, right? For the most part, the game didn't just ask you every time, okay, what do you want to do, right? It did, I'm sure it did do that sometimes, but the vast majority of the choices, and they're very frequent. Sorry, I hit the button on my selfie stick accidentally. So, more often than not, the choices that you got in SMT4, the dialogue choices, were asking for your opinion on certain issues, right? Like, if this happens, what would you do, right? Or, do you think we really need knowledge? Blah, 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 shit like that, right? Obviously, the choices were, it was super transparent, which, like, this was a law, this was chaos, whatever, right? And it didn't really have an immediate impact on the actual events of the plot, right? On the plot progression, right? Because clearly, yeah, I get it, right? It's a complicated thing, right? You can't just create different fucking branches for every fucking choice, right? But if you structure it this way, it actually makes sense, right? It actually makes sense that you say your opinion on a thing and then you move on, right? Not, I want to do a thing and then the game says no, right? So that's one thing, but also then it actually did matter in SMT4. It had this background meta system where it tracked your opinions on all these choices, right? And then it shows your fucking ideological alignment based on that. And you can totally poke holes in that. You can say that's a stupid fucking system, and that you can't boil down, like, something as complex as human fucking ideology to math, right? I would agree with you, but it's still, like, an attempt, right? And as far as I'm aware, I mean, I don't want to say too much because I haven't finished this game, obviously, but as far as I'm aware, this is not the case in this game. It doesn't really have anything like that. And, like, I don't even see how it would have anything like that, because, like, the choices, again, they don't really make sense in that context. Like, do the deviant choices now mean you're more chaotic? Like, I mean, that's nonsense, right? Again, like Walter, for example, in SMT4, he wasn't just, like, a terrible person, right? It was just chaos, you're an asshole, right? The other game that I had to think a lot about was Dark Souls. And yes, I realize Dark Souls comparisons are very corny, but it's like, damn, I kept thinking, wow, if this was a situation in Dark Souls, it would actually fucking matter. I mean, the Souls games are so famous for the fact that they, constantly autosave, right? So you can't really undo any of the dumb shit that you do. But then number two, your choices actually fucking matter. When the characters ask you cryptic shit, it's really fucking important that you pay attention, right? And that, it's not even just, yeah, it matters and, like, you have choices, but it, like, makes you give a shit about the world, right? It makes you be cautious. It makes you keep your guard up. It makes you actually follow the characters, right? And it's cool because it's this thing where you don't even have to fully understand what's going on to like to draw something out of it, right? When like fucking Yurt in Demon Souls, when he fucks you over and kills all the guys on the Nexus, that's like a real fucking effect that you're gonna feel if you didn't pay attention in that situation, right? And when that happens, you're gonna know, fuck, like this is a legit game where I need to pay attention to what I'm saying, right? So clearly, it's not a ridiculous fucking thing to ask for this sort of thing, right? And like, it's not a ridiculous thing, especially when the game is setting itself up for that comparison, I think. It's just, people think it's ridiculous because they don't expect more from these games. I guess it's just the general takeaway I have is like, damn, JRPGs are playing catch up so fucking hard with the entire rest of the industry, right? There was like a really hilarious situation where you walk into this little cave and there's like enemies sort of perched, like slime enemies perched at the top, right? And there's a treasure chest in the back. And you immediately realize, I mean, that's fine, right? You immediately realize, okay, if I get the treasure chest, probably the enemies will jump down and right, try to attack me. That's like, okay, right? That's a nice situation. I think that's fine. It's fine that it's obvious, right? I don't think that's a problem. But then you get the treasure chest, and then the enemies jump down. But like, because it's a fucking JRPG, it's so easy to just outrun them. Like, they don't chase you down with like any kind of vigor, right? It doesn't feel precarious at all. And even if you do happen to get into a fight with them, guess what? It's just a fucking JRPG fight. It's just a turn-based fucking, you auto battle through it and then you go about your day. And like immediately I was thinking, damn, if this exact situation was in Dark Souls, I would be fucking terrified. Like, because the space would be cramped, you would have to fight them in real time, right? Maybe the camera would go nuts, right? Which obviously is not a good thing, but like, it's like genuinely a tense situation you're like invested in, right? And in this game, it's like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter that they put the enemies there, yeah? And it's like, yeah, like, this is such a new thing for SMT, right? Literally, I don't think any SMT game has done that before, where an enemy is perched above, and they can jump down to ambush you, right? You would think in theory, damn, that's cool that can happen. But it matters so little, because the mechanics aren't really built to take advantage of that, yeah? It's like so wasted on this turn-based JRPG system. And yeah, I mentioned the fucking giant enemy thing earlier, right? Literally the same day, today, which is today, right? I played like 10 minutes of the Elden Ring network test because I'm a fucking dumbass and I forgot it was today, and then I got like only 10 minutes. And literally, you walk forward and it's this giant open world in Elden Ring, and you're immediately ambushed by a boss fight, right? The boss just starts and he fucking chases you down relentlessly, and it's immediate and it's dynamic and it's in the world, right? And it's like, damn. Like, I was actually fucking excited when I played that. And this game is just like, yeah, there's some enemies, you can run around them, yeah. Again, I said already, this game, it feels toothless. And it feels, I mean, I'm sure the fights get more difficult later, right? Obviously, I'm fucking auto-battling through everything right now, and it's like the most boring thing ever. I'm sure it gets more difficult statistically, and like you have to like put more care into your setup, right? But like the game doesn't, it seems like the game doesn't want you to be excited at all. It wants to get itself over with so efficiently with its fucking tutorials. And like, I was watching the latest Easy Allies Frame Trap podcast, a little bit of it, right, with the segment on SMT V, and Ben was talking about the platforming, right? And I'm sure the platforming like maybe gets more complex later, but it's like what platforming, you know? Like, you have a jump button and you can sprint and that's it. And right, like most of the enemies, like I said, they can't fucking catch up with you at all. And maybe that changes later. But it's like there's some platforming and the level design is a little more seamless, right? And that's like enough that we're going like, oh my fucking god, this is like such a leap for JRPGs. What the fuck is going on, dude? Oh shit. When it's like, really, if you compare it to any other game, it's nothing special. And I think that perspective is important. I think I think it's close-minded to say, oh, we shouldn't compare those things, right? Oh, it's like unfair to compare that. Why is it unfair? Like, please, if you have a constructive, good reason why you think it's unfair, let me know. I don't think it is. I think, again, a game like Dark Souls has super similar goals to this, and the difference is that the Souls games actually do shit to accomplish their goals, right? Whereas this, it feels so stuck in the past and so stuck in like tropes and just tropes that weren't really a good reflection of the kinds of, well, no, that's not even true, right? I was gonna say, like, you can't do those emotions with those kinds of mechanics. That's not even true. Literally, I felt, and again, it's been a while since I played those games, right? But like, I felt those same feelings way fucking more in SMT 1, for example, where the game actually uses its weird interface and like everything's super diegetic, right? To give you kind of story gut punches and like to just kind of fuck you over sometimes. And like it does it with no tutorials and just very little. It doesn't fucking care about you, right? It doesn't fucking care if you can deal with the situation right now. And that actually made it interesting and exciting. And I didn't stick with that game, right? I did think it got really fucking tedious with the random counters and all that. But it's like we get so lost in the weeds with like quality of life shit and just carefully introducing the player to every element, right? Oh, that we end up with a game that's, I don't fucking know. Like, this looks so extravagant and fucking majestic or whatever, but like, it just when I was playing it, it was like, damn, okay, it's SMT 2021 edition. With just nothing really special to it, and with no real bite. And I think, again, you can make harder fights or whatever, but you can't really. This game's soul is to just give that specific audience, right, JRPG players, exactly what they expect and like nothing else, right? It's the exact kind of thing that audience already likes, and it's not trying to win over anyone new. And I guess the last thing I'll leave you with is like, there's like this really interesting video. I'm sure you've seen the first one in the series where this one guy makes his wife play Breath of the Wild, right, and a bunch of other games. And one of the games he makes her play later is Undertale, and or like generally turn-based RPGs and stuff. And literally, she didn't even see the appeal. She didn't even understand how it was supposed to be fun, right? And the guy was basically sort of rationalizing it. Well, you and me, obviously us gamers, we know this gets like a little bit more complex later, and there's more to the story or whatever, right? And that's why the combat, like, being the way it is like, okay, right? But it's like literally we get so clouded in that kind of thinking that we don't realize, no, his wife is right. We're doing the same fucking fight 50 times. And there's no depth to it, and there's nothing interesting to it after the first time. So why the fuck are we repeating it? And that's the thing, I'm not even talk about the combat and the mechanics. It's whatever. This game is whatever so far. I'm gonna stick with it for a little bit. See how I like it, but update, I stuck with it for another 5 or so hours, I think, maybe 6 hours, I don't know. I got to the second area, and game was the same. It actually only got worse the more I played it, so I put my copy on eBay and call it there. Sorry. So far, very underwhelmed, and again, it's just so sad that it's so predictable, you know? If I could say that I'm liking it if I wanted to, right? I could so easily just like force prove everyone wrong and just act like I like it and then be like, got you guys, right? But no, I'm like yeah, it is predictable, right? Like I do not enjoy this game that much, right? I don't really hate it. I'm not like super bored with it or anything, but isn't that sad though, right? Isn't that that even if you like this game, like, you can't tell me that anything about it is surprising you right now, can you? Like, I don't know. I guess with that, I'd like to know what you guys think, maybe of this game specifically, or all the shit that I've said. Yeah. Damn, that was an abrupt ending to this, I think, really good video. Really handsome, sexy video. Yeah, again, I can only repeat, hope you enjoyed. Expect more in this general format as well. Hope there's a good discussion in the comments. Yeah, I'll see you later. Enjoy the summer.